Thank you, Your Excellency, the Ambassador and Moderator, for today's session. Our Minister for West African Community, Commerce and Tourism, Madam Kandie, Mr. Panag Mitakaris, and also the representative from the Chamber, Your Excellency, our Ambassador, Madam Gaita, and Madam Vicky, our Honorable Consul, we thank you all for receiving us this morning. I'm going to make a short presentation here, and I'm very privileged to stand before you. I did my history and I learned a lot about the Greek philosophers of those days. For me, the perspective I have for the Greek people, the people from Hellas, they are strong personalities. Alexander the Great, Pluto, and Aristotle, the great philosophers. So this is where civilization began, and we are very proud to be here because we know it is where the future is, because the beginning and the future must meet. So I'm very honored to stand before you, and my presentation is on Kenya, your trade partner in Africa. That's the presentation overview. We'll talk about the Kenya at a glance and the strategic location of Kenya and its uniqueness, and then the trade with Greece and the opportunities for investment and trade. Africa's story is changing. Never mind the story of terrorism, but clearly you can see the Economist some times back calling Africa the hopeless continent, but you can see later on, a few years back, they said Africa is rising, and indeed Africa is rising. And Africa is the new frontier for trade. From China, Europe, USA, and Japan, we are a hub of opportunities that you can find not only in Africa, in Kenya, but also in East Africa and the Great Lakes region. Africa is also huge, and Kenya is at the heart of Africa. The United States can fit within Africa, China, India, the entire of Europe. So Africa is huge, and it has a future for business and trade. Kenya, at a glance, we have a population of about 41 million people. If you add that to the East African community, you're looking at 150 million market for your goods, with a GDP of 41 billion US dollars. And we use the Kenya currency. We use the English language and Swahili, and we have a very climate. The climate in Kenya is very favorable. We enjoy a kind of not so cold, not so warm, almost throughout the year. So we are a good country to visit and very stable politically. And the strategic location of Kenya, as somebody always says, my brother in the Ministry of Tourism, is at the heart of Africa, because when you're in Kenya, you can transverse to Asia, and you can transverse to Europe, and across all the cities in Africa within less than 6 hours. So we are strategically located. There are some things that are very unique about our country. First, we have our development blueprint, what we call the Vision 2030, and it has the 3 overarching pillars, looking at the economic and social and political issues that drive the growth of our economy. In the overall, we want to be a globally competitive and prosperous nation by the year 2030, offering high quality of life to all our citizens. And that is the vision. If you look at the vision, it provides a host of opportunities in the medical field, in the transportation, energy sector, stability and technology. Kenya is also the largest economy within the East African countries and the gateway to East and Central Africa, and a major player in both the EAC, East African Community, and COMESA. And we have key products that we sell. We may not pride in very many products, but what we are good at, we are excellent. We look at our teas and our coffees and our cut flowers. We give the very best to the world. And we are leading exporters, obviously, of the horticultural products and the black tea and quality coffee and pyrethrum, among many other things. Other than that, as you have already observed, Your Excellency, the Ambassador, we are a country which prides itself with the highest number of marathoners. Our athletes excel all over the world. We have the spectacular Great Rift Valley, which cuts across the country, and we are the only third world country that hosts the United Nations headquarters unit in Nairobi. And we are truly, Nairobi is a cosmopolitan town, which is a commercial and financial hub for the region. We take pride in the name of Wangari Maathai, and when I was flying in here, I saw how you delight in nature, and she was a person who loved nature and the environment protection. If you see the picture at the right-hand corner is one of the wonders of the world, the wildebeest migration in the Masai Mara, those of you who have visited Kenya, and it's a pictorial of what we are really unique about. We always get 1, 2, 3, so we wanted to show you one of our feats that we we got in one of the marathons, and I'm told by our counselor, Madam Vicky, that we'll be celebrating one very soon before we leave break, I think on Saturday or Sunday. Yeah. So we are also excelling now also in the field of rugby. Our team is renowned world over, and also we are our man there, Rudisha, is celebrated as the 800 world record holder in the world. So what are we saying? We are saying that we are a hub, that if you look at the port, we have a big port of Mombasa. You can reach all the countries in the region through Mombasa by port, and also our airport in Nairobi, which is international. And we are also an ICT hub in the region. Those of you who've been in Nairobi, we have a lot of manufacturing going on there, and there are opportunities for investments in manufacturing. When you look at the market around Kenya, the emerging markets of South Sudan, Djibouti, Ethiopia, and also the Democratic Republic of Congo. So we supply most of the manufactured products to not only the East African countries of Uganda, Tanzania, Rwanda, and Burundi, but also to the Central African countries, the DR Congo and Angola, and also parts of the Ethiopia. And those are some of the international companies that have set up in Nairobi. There we have Coca-Cola, Samsung, Toyota, and there are many. We just brought a few. So if you work with trade together with the Kenyan business colleagues that are here, if you invest in Kenya, you're going to have a mutually beneficial relationship by trading in Kenya. These are some of the exports that we sold to Greece in the past 10 or so years, mainly food products, raw commodities, size of vegetables, leather, and tea and coffee. There are pictures of some of our exports. Beautiful flowers, also that we trade a lot in Africa. That's our coffee. We are proud. Kenya has one of the best tasting coffees in the world, and I'm sure a lot of you know that it's been used across the world as a blend for other coffees from other It is got very nice, it's rich in aroma, and it has a lot of medicinal value because it's grown organically, and it has a rich aftertaste. That's a tea plantation. We have beautiful landscape both for coffee and tea plantations, and our tea and coffees are grown by smallholder who take a lot of care of the product, and that makes our teas and coffees very unique in taste, and that is we are showcasing a tea plantation in Kenya. So what we import from Greece, mainly fertilizer. Most of them are high-end, high-value products, tubes, pipes, medicines, arms and ammunitions, electrical components, mechanical handling equipment, and other non-electrical machinery, agricultural and horticultural products. The trade between Kenya and Greece has been in favor of Greece, as our minister had actually observed, but there is room for making it bigger, growing the numbers, so that we buy more from you and you buy much more from us. The products with high potential in your market, according to what we've checked, these are some of the products where you can source more and they still have market in your country here in Greece. Investments, as our minister said and our ambassador has said, there are opportunities for Greece businessmen to come and invest in Kenya. You know, and we were trying to compare the FDI for Greece, the outflows, and we are saying Africa accounts for less than 1% of your FDIs. So we need to trade more to improve on that position. Some of the opportunities are in infrastructure. As the ambassador said, we are trying to develop the Lamu port, and with it will come what we are calling the LAPSET corridor, and it's going to be a road and rail corridor which will connect Kenya to Ethiopia, South Sudan, and the Democratic Republic of Congo. And within it, there will be some resort cities that will be built along the rail and road. Also, we are having opportunities for manufacturing in manufacturing of fertilizers, establishing of a fertilizer manufacturing company. We also have opportunities for irrigation, and I know there is a lot going on here where Kenya can benefit from in terms of rehabilitating semi-arid areas and making them into productive land. Also in the coal and value addition of agri-processing, exploration of oil and gas, value addition in gemstones and minerals, film and music industry, geothermal, solar, and wind energy. And there are a few projects that I'll highlight in these areas. In the area of agriculture, livestock, and fisheries, there are also opportunities: mining and quarry, extraction of oil and petroleum gas. Manufacturing, there is the value-added agro-processing, chemical products, iron and steel, and pharmaceuticals. In the service industry, there is complex tourism, wellness centers, ICT, resort cities, amusement parks, hotels, and high-end lodges in the parks, because you do very well in tourism. I'm sure those opportunities will be good. In the energy sector, we have a lot. We are now moving into the geothermal. Previously, we were relying a lot more on the hydro electric power generation, which obviously is expensive and weather-driven, and we are now moving into the geothermal, renewable energy, wind power, and also areas of wind. And we're also looking at rural electrification. In Kenya, not every of the rural We were trying to talk about the investments opportunities in the energy sector, and I had talked about the oil explorations. We have, perhaps some of you may be aware that we discovered oil and coal in parts of Kenya, and there are opportunities for investments in those areas, and also the construction of LPG handling facility, enhancement of oil supply capacity through the installation of booster pumps in some of the parts of the country, and construction of a parallel pipeline within the country. IT-enabled services and opportunities in ICT. Kenya, in its Vision 2030, intends to have a techno city in the outlying parts of Nairobi. We call it the Konza Techno City. It will be having a BPO park, a science park, a data center, and related infrastructure. And also, that provides opportunities for investments. And software and hardware development also is an area for which provides opportunities for investments on the area of ICT and the development and establishment of the ICT parks. That's an artistic impression of the proposed Konza City Greenfields project that will just be a few kilometers from the city of Nairobi. Then the Lamu port I talked about, and that's an architectural drawing of the proposed berth in Lamu as part of the LAPSET program. I talked about the LAPSET, which is the Lamu Port, South Sudan, Ethiopia Transport Corridor, with a road network, a railway line, an oil refinery, oil pipeline, and a free port and resort cities. Nairobi has transformed. I know I talked to some of you and you complained of the traffic that you experienced the last time you visited us. And the government is aware of that, and a lot is going on towards improving on the infrastructure. And that's just one of the roads that has been done recently. Investment procedures have been made very short. We have our sister organization, which is the Kenya Investment Authority, and the EPZA, which is Export Processing Zones Authority, which helps businesses from abroad to set up and provide to hasten the approval procedures for any business that they want to set up in terms of issuance of investment certificates and registration. So we have a one-stop shop that helps you to set up as soon as you come and you have an interest to invest in the country. Some of the incentives that the government provides for investors coming from abroad is that we have 100% investment allowance. We also have an export processing zones where we've set aside land for investors coming to set up shop in Nairobi or in any part of the country. Now we are calling them the special economic zones, and they are in some of the counties, not just in Nairobi. We have attractive depreciation allowances, import duty and VAT waiver on capital goods, a 10-year tax holiday, withholding tax and stamp duty exemptions, and procedural and infrastructural incentives. We allow for repatriation of capital and profits after payment of taxes. Constitution guarantees protection against expropriation of private property. And Kenya is also a member of MIGA, the Multilateral Investment Guarantee Agency, and also International Center for Settlement of International Dispute, ICSID. And we are also member of the Africa Trade Insurance Agency, ATIA, which is housed in the institution I work for. Then I want to talk briefly about Export Promotion Council and what we do. We were established in 1992 by the government, and the reason we were set up is to promote trade between Kenya and other countries in the world, and increase foreign exchange earnings for the country and economic growth. What we do, we work very closely with other institutions of government, like I've talked about Kenya Investment Authority, and we try to remove bottlenecks that hinder trade between our business people and those that are coming to also trade within our country. We connect buyers and sellers. That's our vision, is really to position our goods and services as products of choice, to increase competitiveness of our goods, and to expand and sustain our market share in identified markets. Our broad promise, obviously, is to anchor Kenya for export-led growth. What we do, other functions we do, is to review our export performance, our trade performance, how are we doing with various business partners, and what can be done to increase and improve on our trade performance with other bilateral countries that we trade with. Next. Basically, those are the main things that we do. We organize trade fairs and exhibitions, buyer and seller meetings. We organize trade missions, establishment of distribution infrastructure, e-trade and market linkages. We also work on the supply side to ensure that whatever you need, particularly in the area of development of products, we ensure that it's available in the right quality and quantity. And we also do research to see how we can improve what we are trying to do. That is our address and contact address for Export Promotion Council and also for our Ministry of East African Affairs and Tourism. Asante. Thank you very much. Thank you very much.